You still have a place for me in your heart? Brett asked. Yes. I was only with Jim because I had no choice, Yasmin whined. He was the one who took the initiative with me. He looked her in the eye and asked, If I'm so important to you, then tell me, what's my favorite fruit? Huh? She started to stammer. After a moment, she said, Oranges? Frazer laughed when he heard her. Oranges? Even I know that Brett loves watermelon the most, he said. Brett, who had already given up on her, waved at the guards and told them to drag her out. After that, they changed the technology company's name back to its original label, Frandotech. In the chairman's office, Brett turned to Frazer and asked, Where did you get the money to buy the company? I'm afraid I can't reveal my source, Frazer replied. You're being quite mysterious. What are you going to do next? Brett asked. I'm going to deal with the Philly group. The good days are over for that father and son pair. Frazer spoke with determination. The news that Frazer and Brett had taken over their old company again quickly spread through the city, and Brett became an idol in the hearts of many single girls. The following day, there was chaos in the offices at the Philly group. The company had been inundated with complaints from clients, and even the security guards had been given the job of answering the phones. Mose pointed at them and shouted, All of you, work hard and don't make any mistakes. Otherwise, your commission for this month will be gone. Everyone had been busy since 4 o'clock and hadn't eaten breakfast. They were exhausted, but didn't dare to take a break for fear of losing their commissions. Mose went up to his father's office. Victor was at his desk, emptying the contents of his drawers into cardboard boxes. Mose asked, Dad, can the company be saved? 70% of our clients have reported problems with the quality of their properties. Someone is definitely behind all of this. Victor said, I want you to get ready to meet the new boss. The new boss? Dad, are you kidding? Our company has a pile of lawsuits, so why would anyone want to take it over? Mose asked, confused. Yesterday, I spoke to a potential buyer from some company called Frandotech. He didn't seem to know what was going on here, so I just said a few words to him and he agreed to take over the company. I've already booked a flight out of the country. Once we're done with this, why don't you come with me and hide away for a while? Victor offered. Victor had been intelligent. He had realized that the situation wasn't looking good and had already prepared his escape route. Hearing that someone had come to their rescue, Mose felt relieved. A staff member knocked on the door and said, Mr. Ferlin, there's someone in reception who wishes to see you. His name is Brett Andrews. Mose, the new boss is here, Victor said. The pair made their way down to the reception area, which was bustling with noise and excitement after the arrival of their guests. The people who saw him started to speculate about his reason for being there. Didn't that guy work here with his wife? What's he doing back here? An employee said. He's probably here to beg for their jobs back, another voice sounded. The guy with him looks as if he's unemployed too. There were a lot of such comments. Brett was angry when he heard them. Stop your chattering and get your boss down here, he shouted. Because he was with Frazer, who was regarded as a loser, he wasn't taken seriously. The manager, who had taken over Peter's position, asked, Do you think Mr. Ferlin would want to see you? If you do, you think too much of yourself. Someone call security. The security guards arrived and were about to throw them out when Victor and Mose arrived. Stop that, Victor shouted. Do you know what you're doing? The manager said, Mr. Ferlin, this person was demanding to see you. He obviously had no reason to be here, so I asked security to kick him out. Victor said, Well, you've made a big mistake. He's your new boss, Mr. Andrews. The manager was stunned. Isn't he Frazer's friend? He thought. How can he be the new boss? Mr. Ferlin seems to have gone crazy. Brett said, Mr. Ferlin, is this any way for me to be treated? I think you should deal with the staff before I take it over. He pretended to be annoyed and gave the impression that he was about to leave. Victor looked worried and immediately said, Mr. Andrews, hold on. The company only has one errant employee, and I'll kick him out. Victor looked sullenly at the manager and said, A competent employee of this company wouldn't disrespect his boss. You have no place here. The manager realized that he had misjudged the situation and that Brett was his new boss. He had only just taken up his position as manager, yet he was already facing dismissal. He begged Victor to change his mind. Victor was unmoved and waved to a security guard, who dragged the manager outside. The reception area became quiet. Mose, who had been in a daze, returned to his senses and pointed at Frazer. Frazer, why are you here? What is your relationship with Mr. Andrews? He asked. Brett said, Mr. Ferlin, you've misunderstood the situation. He and I don't know each other. He explained that he and Frazer had arrived independently. Frazer pretended not to know Brett and said, Mr. Andrews, I heard that this company owes you a huge debt of gratitude. If you take over the company, you'll have to clean up a huge mess for them. Brett pretended to be shocked. A huge mess? What do you mean? He turned to Victor and said, Mr. Ferlin, what are you hiding from me? Victor was mortified. He quickly said, Mr. Andrews, don't listen to his nonsense. Our company is healthy and has no external debt. He was telling the truth. There was no debt, but there were plenty of lawsuits. Is that so? Said Brett, sounding doubtful. Mose also became anxious. He knew how important it was to get the deal done. He accepted that it was impossible for Frazer to know the boss of Frandotech, so he tried to dispel any doubts about the company. Mr. Andrews, I was mistaken. This person used to be an employee of our company. We kicked him out due to his poor character. He has a grievance against us, so you shouldn't trust what he says. All right. I'll take your word for it and sign the contract, Brett said. He chatted and smiled with the Ferlins as he entered the company's offices. Mose hung back and gave Frazer an evil smile. Do you honestly think you can cause problems here? He asked. You're overestimating yourself. Unless Natalia comes and begs me, I'm going to make sure you get everything you've got coming to you. I'm leaving the country after this anyway, Mose thought as he regarded Frazer. It's not like this is going to be a problem. Frazer's eyes turned cold. He still wants my wife, he thought. Well, he's not going to get her. It's time to pull this plant out by the roots and get rid of him. It's amusing that he thinks I'm incompetent. Just you wait, Frazer said quietly. Oh, are you threatening me? Mose asked mockingly. The door opened and the senior administrators entered the room. Victor stepped up to the microphone. Can I have everyone's attention? He asked. I'm pleased to announce that, as of this moment, President Andrews is your new boss. Let's all give him a warm welcome. The gathered employees clapped loudly. More than one had been anxiously awaiting a change in management. Mose and Victor had not treated their employees well. Everyone was looking forward to new leadership. While everyone was still applauding, Frazer walked up to Brett, nodded at his partner, and took the contract letter. Mose, Victor, he said cordially, thank you for transferring your company to us, but it appears that your flight tomorrow morning was booked for nothing. Mose looked at his father in astonishment. How did Frazer know about the flight? Mose thought. And what does he mean about it being booked for nothing? Mose saw his own confusion reflected in his father's face. They suddenly heard the sound of sirens approaching. Victor felt a cold prickle of panic run down his spine. You two planned this, he said to Frazer and Brett. I sold my company for less than it's worth, and I can't even skip town as I'd planned, he thought. You gambled and lost, Frazer replied. And now you're paying the price for your sins. I really do owe them, as I said, he thought. Just not in the way that they thought. Moses' face turned pale as he realized what the sirens meant. Frazer knew everything, he realized. He plays the idiot, but it's all an act. How else could he have outsmarted us? The police entered the building and wasted no time in handcuffing and taking both Mose and Victor back out to the waiting squad cars. After the police had left, Frazer and Brett calmly discussed some business matters before each went home for the evening.
To watch the full episode, install the Pocket FM app